Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video. Coming out of the shareholders meeting, a lot of big news items, but today I want to break a huge story for Giga-Texas that has to do with Optimus. To set the stage, let's hear what Elon said during the meeting.
So we're going to launch on the fastest production ramp of any product, of any large complex manufactured product ever. And starting with building a 1 million unit production line in Fremont. That's line one. And then a 10 million unit per year production line here on the
Now, to put into context the challenge ahead to build this new production line at Giga-Texas, I want to show you this part of the south end near the trees, the Colorado River, following along River Road and heading off to the east and to the north around this part of the site. Now, earlier this year, I covered the Riverfront Eco Park vision plan for Giga-Texas, and I showed you this map, which gives you an idea of where all this is going to be developed, the number of residents and employees that can access this area. It will be open to the public. There'll be riverfront access, trailheads, and a lot more on the site. This artist rendering gives you kind of an idea of what the plan will entail for the ecological paradise, also the connected trail systems all throughout this location. This also gives you an overview of where classrooms, community circles, outdoor workplace, Tesla expos, and a sports circle with athletic fields are going to be constructed. This follows along River Road to the south of this location, where we have noticed a lot of this construction and this clearing of this location, which did show up into those maps for the ecological paradise. Now, of course, this is north of where that's going to be. So the question has been, what exactly is this area being cleared for? And the answer that I will reveal now is that this is the work that is already underway to support the new factory and production line for the 10 million Optimus robot production rate per year here at Giga-Texas. So both the ecological paradise and the factory projects are going to be happening at the same time. This map here with the moving arrow showed you where all of the main sites that we are familiar with the end-of-line facility, the highway, the Giga-Texas factory itself, the multi-level parking garage, this east support area, which is now where the new factory is going to be built, up to the north where Cortex 2 is under construction and the die shop and battery cathode plant, and of course all the way back over to where that ecological paradise will be located. This series of recent drone shots gives you a pretty good idea of where exactly this is located next to the Colorado River. I've highlighted these areas where you can see the ecological park development location and that new factory location on that east support area. This is kind of from the southeast looking north where this development is happening, especially where River Road's being extended. And also this gives you a great view back to the main factory and where downtown Austin is, so you have a good perspective of where this location is. There's also been some construction underway already to support this new area. This is the caisson and the trenching on the south side of River Road. You can see the trench boxes and much of that plumbing and the green pipeline that's been extended through here. We've also seen where they've widened the berm and added in electrical conduit to this point. And this is a better shot of that, showing you where it is and how it reaches over to the new clearing location. We've also seen a lot of the new stormwater pipes being aligned through here. This is going to support that underground drainage system that will be needed for that new construction site. And finally, there's a new permit for the Giga-Texas private reclaimed water and wastewater construction site in the east side. As you can see, here is one of the images showing where this construction is going to be, and this will also be serving this new factory location. Now, this new factory for the 10 million robots is scheduled to go into production in 2027. It's going to take the better part of 2026 to complete the construction, and that is why the earthwork and all of the supporting utilities are being installed right now in this location. So there you have it, the big news that was kind of underreported in the shareholders meeting, and that is a brand new factory is now under construction here on the east side of Giga-Texas, and it will be dedicated to the Optimus Robot production. So a lot to look forward to in 2026.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description.
If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen.
Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you.
My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, good morning from a beautiful Giga-Texas. We are starting off on the far east side, looking across the East Support Facility, that East Warehouse on Wheels. A lot of the trailers that are still here for some of the contractors. You can also tell at the bottom of the screen how much is being cleared out. And I think this is all in preparation for this new factory for Optimus. You can also get a great view right in the center of the screen of that large clearing. Now we're going to spend some time here today because I just want to give you a real good feel for what is going on. Now at the bottom of the screen is where they have had some workshops that have done a lot of the pipe fabrication, and that's very close to that clearing. Also, the center of the screen is that recycling yard, and of course near there is the trees that are still remaining. You can tell a lot of this area is being prepared for this construction, and I fully expect to see a lot of these structures that are at the bottom of the screen to be moved out as they continue for this construction site. Now we can also get a good look at where that line is with the trees. On the left-hand side of the screen is where that Riverfront Eco Park is going to be. In fact, on the left-hand side of the screen is where there's going to be a lot of sports fields that are going to be installed all along this area, along with trails and access to the river. But going across this tree line is where we're going to see the construction. Now, there's going to be a river road extension that's going to go through part of this area, and then off to the right is where this new factory should be constructed. You can also get a good sense here of just how much more clearing has been done since my previous video. In the middle of the screen is that pile of trees that was being removed at the last time that I flew here. Now we do see some more electrical conduit on the left-hand side of the screen being installed. This connects all along the south side of River Road, and it connects up to Robotic Avenue, which I think is very appropriate since we're going to have that factory on the top center of the screen. Now I'm going to also show you how the work continues here with the electrical conduit and all of these steel corrugated pipes that are being laid out along this River Road extension. This is going to be installed throughout this location, and it's going to have a pathway and a connection to the underground water management system that extends all the way around Giga-Texas. As we fly over this small pond, we can see some more equipment and materials that's being stockpiled. I think that this is probably going to be used for that construction area and to connect the two sites together over time. We'll continue to monitor that, and as you know that there's another staging yard nearby with a lot more of the pipe segments too. So a lot of that work that we discussed in the intro is underway. Now as we look at the factory, a couple things just to point out is one, we don't have a lot of that equipment on the ground. It's been installed into the factory. And two, where you see this temporary loading platform, just about 1 or 2 column lifts widths from there is where the Cybercab production line is taking place. And we saw actually some of the video clips and imagery at the shareholders meeting, and I'll be covering that on my next video where I'll show you exactly where that is located. Now, as we come over to the cooling plant, you can tell all 6 of the fans are in operation today. Hopefully, Cortex 1 is busy at work doing more training to get FSD 14 out to all of the fleet. And we'll see how that goes. I know that they just rolled out 14.1.6 to employees yesterday, so hopefully we'll see that out to the public here soon. As we fly along River Road, I just wanted to show you the trench work that is continuing here. You can see the trench boxes, also some other equipment along this area. And as we continue to fly to the west, we'll come up over to where this trench is, the trench box, and that new caisson. You can also tell at the top of the screen more of the forms, so they're probably going to continue to extend the height of that and then have it sink down into the ground. You can also tell that the crane has been moved over to the south side of the road. Over at this caisson, we can see a new fence has been added around the construction site. These concrete vaults along the ground. You can tell that the work inside the caisson, you can see those yellow pipes, is well underway. And of course, the large excavation with the spreader bars and the planks to keep the walls from this trench from collapsing back. So a lot of that work is continuing here on this berm and along the south side of River Road. So I'm going to bring the drone up to a higher altitude. We'll get a good view here of this entire site, and up in the upper right is that clearing for the new factory. And as I kind of turn around to face to the west, I also wanted to show you the other part of that Riverfront Ecological Paradise that we had talked about in the intro. Now here you can see the tree line, the river road, and also the Colorado River. All of this is what's going to be developed for that. On the south bank of the river, you can see that there is a lot of the excavation work for the new apartments and other buildings, plus this caisson, which does connect to the other caissons that we mentioned on the north side of the Colorado River. You can also see on the right where Falwell Lane is being redirected, and that is all part of the massive infrastructure that is going on here at this part of the site. As we look back towards the west, we'll fly along Colorado River. You can see the staging yard here on the right, downtown Austin, in the top of the center of the screen. And as we bring the drone down, there's a few very interesting things that are going on here I want to show you. First, you can see the underground water management pipe here, the steel corrugated pipe, and some of the other types of piping here. I think that's all going to be related to that construction project. We can also see a lot more of the wooden crates have been delivered here today. And there's actually a yard truck on the left-hand side of the screen getting ready to have some of these crates loaded up onto it. Now, I will follow this around and I'll show you where this is going, but it's basically over to the 4680 and structural pack part of the factory today. So it's very likely that much of what we're seeing here is the crated materials and equipment to support battery cell or structural pack construction or assembly. As we look at some of the other items here, some of them are production line equipment, some of them are crates. We see the concrete vaults stored here as well. More materials on the left-hand side of the screen. Here we see what looks to be some more production line equipment, and we also are seeing the yard trucks being loaded up with these crates and green wrapped items and being moved over to the factory. So that is something that is definitely good to see. Shows that some of this material is definitely on the move, and we'll get a chance to see where that's going into the factory. Of course, all of the racks here for the castings being stored. I think this has been kind of consolidating them across the site, including the far north areas, to help prepare for some future construction in the far north of the site, which I will show you on a future video. As we cross over the power lines, come down to this material staging yard, a few things just to point out is here the canvas top to the Quonset structure has been added in. They're building another roof across 2 containers for another workshop. That all looks to be like for superchargers. And then we see these workshops with pipe elements, and that is for different parts of the factory. And also here we can see some of the materials for the 4680 cell portion of the factory. At the bottom of the screen are some of these platforms that we've seen over in Cortex 2, a V-type circuit breaker, the yellow gantry crane, and as we fly to the north over some more of these items, also the mobile superchargers, you can tell that the grouping of transformers is still here. Hasn't really had changes with the total numbers in a while, but this is one of 2 of those sites around the entire Giga-Texas land that these are being stored. As we get to the outbound lot, one of the things that's very noticeable is the number of Cybertrucks that have been built. Now on the left-hand side of the screen, our vehicle is getting ready for that transportation off the site, but in this location, as I kind of maneuver around, you can see just how many Cybertrucks have been built. Now, there are many different markets now open around the world. This is possibly for some of them, or it could be to help get to the customers here in the United States that have been placing orders and waiting patiently for their delivery dates. Nevertheless, still a lot of Cybertrucks being built here. And of course, production for the Model Ys is ramping back up to start the week. Now, over on the east side, we see that clearing, but that's not the only area that's being prepared or will eventually have new construction. This field here is going to be for the new Welcome Center. It's also possible that this is where the new Tesla diner may be built, and that would be a great fit with a Welcome Center. And we'll have to see how that continues to go. But there are multiple different sites around Giga-Texas on both the east and the west sides where we can expect to see a lot of major construction. So let's get ready and cross over the highway, and we'll resume over by the flagpoles, and I'll bring the drone down, just show you what it looks like in the aftermath of the shareholders meeting. A few of the tents on the left are getting prepared for disassembly. A lot of the displays have been moved away, and all of the vehicles on the kind of underneath those archways have been moved also away. So that was a really great event, and I did have a video that kind of showed you what it was like that day, and I would recommend you take a look at it. Another Model Y exiting the factory today. This looks like a premium Model Y, so I think that that's pretty much what's being constructed. Also, if you didn't hear my news last week, but Model Y performances are being built here now. So that production process began last week. This location here with this crane is where that yard truck will be delivering those crates, and it'll be moving up inside that platform. You can also get a good view of what's going on with the solar panels, and it looks like a few of them were actually being installed today, so continuing to work their way to the north. As I fly to the east over the roof, I'm going to reposition down here next to these towers for the power lines. And what I want to show you is that opening that used to be here with that temporary platform has now had the glass reinstalled, the concrete panel, and it looks like it's sealed all up. Now, in the left-hand side of the screen on the ground are more Cybercab castings. And then as we pass these Model Y castings, we'll see some more Cybercab castings in the bottom center of the screen next to the melt center. And the second of 2 furnace loading systems is almost completed on that right-hand side of the screen. You can kind of see that loading bucket in gray highlighted with the sunlight. So that'll be a pretty good view here of the east side of the factory. I wanted to reposition back to the southeast to kind of visit a few other areas. Now, I mentioned this material staging yard has got a lot of pipe segments, underground water management system pipes, and a variety of other equipment. Some of this may be related to that new factory construction, and at least the preparation for that. Also, across Robotic Avenue, where you see those trailers, this is that general area where that private wastewater system that we talked about with the permit in the intro will be constructed. So a lot that is going to happen here. I think that the East Warehouse on Wheels may end up being reconfigured to allow for this construction. And we'll just have a chance to see over the next couple of months as this all develops what they do on this side of the site to prepare for this major construction. But we've talked a lot over the last several years about all of this location that we're flying over. This is just temporary structures. Eventually, this is going to be used for construction, and it seems like that may be starting up here in the late part of this year or through 2026. Take a look at the crash test facility today and get an idea of what is going on. There's not a lot on the south side that we can see, but here on the north side, a few things of interest. The two vehicles that have the colorful car covers, there's more Cybercabs. At the bottom central of the screen, we see a bin with a hood for a Cybercab, kind of glowing in that sunlight. And as I continue to maneuver around, we'll get a view into the crash test facility where we see at least two Cybercabs, one without a cover. They have a lot of the markings on it for crash testing. And it looks like that is continuing to occur here. And I think they're using the newer version of the Cybercab design for these tests. You can also see a variety more of them on the west side next to the building, some of them under car covers as well. So as I continue to pull away to the north, we'll see what else is going on here. The Wade pit at the bottom of the screen, which really hasn't been used much in quite a long time. Kind of a track next to it with that gravel. The second area of transformers, all of these are green versions of them, and it seems like the numbers are continuing to increase over time. So where these are going to be used, I'm not really sure, but it's worth watching because this is definitely something of interest. Now on the left-hand side of the screen, just out of view, I noticed after I finished flying that there is some sort of construction going on there. In my next video, I'll go over and take a look at that. But the big news really is the number of sites that are all being prepared for construction, and all of that's going to be happening in next year. Now, Cortex 2 is really coming along. The main structure is completed. They're just working on some of the exterior walls. Inside, almost all of the ground slab has been poured. You can also see some of these pipe segments on the ground on the staging yard. As we look inside, a pump truck is applying concrete into this west hallway. This is the raised section of the building, and then they have kind of a step down and some false floors from there to the center part of the building. As we continue to maneuver around here through this opening, you can see that the concrete has been poured all the way up to the perimeter grade beam, and work is being done on the exterior walls. We see more of the auger work going on here and the compactor nearby. They're making kind of geopiers, so they're strengthening the ground around this location, and there will be some sort of construction here. I'm not sure exactly what that will be yet, but will be worth seeing. With the amount of the piers being installed, it's going to be some sort of substantial equipment on this side. You can tell where they've been patching up more of the walls to enclose more of the structure. And as I continue to maneuver around here at a lower altitude, get a good sense of the groundwork. You can see some of those circular depressions in the ground. That's where the auger and geopiers have been done. Here they are preparing for more concrete pipes. Of course, the gravel helps bed them in and also keep the pipes from floating. I wanted to try to look inside this section of the building. I'll zoom in. I was looking for the water pipes, but I don't see them right now for the cooling system. But we do see an interior ramp being built on the right-hand side of the screen, an interior structure that's been put with scaffolding and plastic, and just some other detail work that's going on inside. Now, I did talk to the workers that are putting in the pipes, And for the cooling water system for Cortex 2, it's going to be running at about 10 bar or 150 psi, which is fairly low for pressurized systems. And all that work is underway inside. We do see more rebar cages being fashioned here. This is most likely related to this location they're working on. It may be part of a concrete apron, but we'll be watching to see how that develops. As we come around to the south side of the building, we can see just how this landscaping and clearing is taking place on this side of the building, plus what the exterior walls look like. Pretty much all of it's done and stained white with the exception of this section. Now this is the south part of that west hallway and extends all the way up to where we saw the pump truck in action. The concrete's been poured here. They've been doing some interior walls, both permanent with studs and temporary. And then on the outside, we see this large grouping of the screw type piers. Now it was confirmed to me that this is where they are going to be putting the chiller unit for the Cortex 2, and that's why they have all of these piers in the ground, and it's going to be extending pretty much the entire length of the building. So we're going to see a lot of those piers in basically this format flying along this section all the way to the north. Now as I fly this way, it's a great view of the west side of how it all is coming together. Some of the trenching with the screw type piers, the trenches for the conduit's been filled in for the most part, and on the top right we can see another one of those that retaining wall that's been added perpendicular to the exterior of the wall, just like on the south end. That's going to allow the screw type piers to go all the way through this part of the site. As we look across towards the electrical switch yard, get a good view of the ground, all of the trenching that's been filled in, some of the pipe work that still remains, and some more of the conduit here with that red concrete being put on top. And this is preparing for that third of three kind of main branches for the electrical conduit. As we come back to the trailers, I just wanted to show you how many more of them have been moved away since they are decommissioning this. Plus the road here has been completely removed as part of this construction project. The rest of the trailers will be moved too, and then they can continue more construction throughout this entire area. Now I'm going to continue to fly back to the north over these remaining trailers. Just want to show you what's going on with the electrical conduit installation and vaults just to the south of the large underground vaults with the controlled trailers. And this is a great view of how all of this conduit is coming together. And of course, this vault with the three trailers is connected with that connecting kind of concrete vault trench over to the original one, kind of making this extension part of the entire site. So it's almost like one large switch yard once they are done. But there's no real cable being put into that trench yet. Now I did notice that the large transformer has had a lot more of the equipment installed. We got what looks like the circuit breakers on the top, or at least the insulators, and the oil tank for its operation. And it's that large oil tank which not only cools the transformer, but also is the reason why we have that catch basin around the slab. You can see where the second transformer will be installed pretty soon. In addition to that, more of the equipment and the breakers on the left next to the V-type circuit breakers. And as I kind of look back over towards the site, you can really get a good sense of how much of the steel has been erected onto the footings so far. 4 of the V-type circuit breakers are being installed and assembled right now, and it looks like some more excavation work, probably for footings, is underway. If you look at the ground next to some of the steel items that are erected out of the footings, you'll see larger footings. That's where A-frames are going to be located. As I continue to pull towards the north, get a good sense of more of that steel, more of the materials on the ground in this large area where the bulk of the materials, including some what looks to be preparation or materials for those A-frames, have been delivered. So that'll be it for today. A lot of news in the intro, big news about the new factory for Optimus and the work that is already underway. And of course, we have Cortex, which will be a big part of the Optimus production here at Giga-Texas as well. As always, thank you very much for watching. Happy Veterans Day, and I hope you have a great week. Take care.